But to undertake this perilous journey, Godwin Asediba encountered them on their courageous voyage.
We are en route from Mafidokpo to Mafidevime here in the Volta region, and it is drizzling here, and these pupils just closed from school. I have been told by those on the boat that on a regular dry day, this should be a farmland where these pupils will have to walk freely to the next community where they live. But you can see that at the moment they are seated on a boat, and they do this in the morning when they are about to go to school and in the evening when they close as well. These kids are not on a life jacket together with the other ones that you find behind me. These are also residents who live here. None of them have life jackets here. The impact of the dam spillage is affecting them heavily here in the Volta region, and this is what they have been doing since the spillage began. Most of them have expressed some sort of fear regarding the level of the water because it keeps rising every minute. At the moment when the boat rider was going, he tells me that the water was on a certain level, but at this time he is complaining that the water has risen to a higher level, and it is sort of making it difficult for him together with his other colleagues to be able to paddle through this particular, stretch. Eric here went to school in the morning. He had to use this particular procedure. He has closed from school together with his other colleagues, and he is still using the same procedure to go back home.
I am afraid.
Why are you afraid?
But the water is here, and I'm afraid.
Like you've rightly heard from him, he said he is afraid due to the level of the water here. What makes it really heartbreaking is that these pupils do not have life jackets that can be able to protect them in case this canoe capsized. And these are stories that we have heard over and over again from the Volta region. There have been stories of some relief items and life jackets that has been sent to some communities, but here in Dafigofo, most of the residents here are yet to have some sort of help. And Elizabeth here is also a teacher in one of the schools, and whenever she is going to the next town where her school is, she'll have to onboard this canoe and get to that community.
I don't feel comfortable when I am going to school, and then as a moment some of the students are in the house and all their parents are complaining that because of the water they don't know how to swim and we don't have life jackets. So when we put them in the boats and then they were not able to control themselves and then they fall in the water, they can die. So some of us, the teachers, we try as much as possible. We go to the school because Dover and Atitepo, the place was not flooded. So we manage the small classes that we have. But even as we are going, we are afraid that we can fall in the water and then something else will happen to us. Yes.
Have you gotten any sort of help since the whole situation began?
No, please. No hope.
There's no hope?
Yes, or no help for us. So we also go to the school and then the payment too is something. We try that the leaders should do the help for us so that when we are going as a student, we can pay 2 cedis or 1 cedi, but they said no, because they are not using machine. They will take the 3 cedis or the 5 cedis from us. So that one too, we are struggling about it.
The level of the water keeps rising each day. Every minute you come and then the water is rising. Let's say it gets to a higher level. Will you still go to the classroom to teach the pupils?
No, please. We will not be able to go when it comes high. This one, we are even thinking about it. We don't supposed to go, but because it's a private school, the parents said they will continue to pay the school fees and things.
But what is making you risk your life for this job?
It is my hobby, so anytime I'm going, because that place was not flooded. I tried to cross like that and go. And the two brothers, they are all my family members. So I try to help and then take them there. But the rest are all here. They are not going to school.
All right, that's Lisbeth right there, a teacher here in the community who assists these pupils go in and out of school through this boat. And I am sure that you watching at home can clearly tell how dangerous this is, not just for the residents, not just for Elizabeth, but also for the kids on the canoe. And me as well, probably if I should say. But that's how bad the situation is. And the residents, the pupils, and everyone here is calling for an urgent help. Godwin Asidiba, TV3, Volta Region.
Now, at least 26,000 people have been displaced along the Volta Basin as officials continue to take stock of the extent of havoc and devastation caused by the Akosombo and Pong Dam spillage. Now, spilling of excess water from the two dams by the Volta River Authority has disrupted economic activities, stripped communities of their livelihoods, and left many people in need of emergency help in food, water, and healthcare.
September 15, the Volta River Authority started spilling excess water from the Akosombo and Pong dams to prevent them from collapse due to the high water intake. Thousands of residents along the Volta Basin in parts of the Volta, Eastern and Greater Accra regions have been affected. Among communities devastated by the floods are Bato, Togakope, Mepe and many island communities in the Volta region, part of Ada in the Greater Accra region, Amedeka, Akuse and Atimpoku in the eastern region. The North Tongue district remains the most affected, recording nearly 10,000 displaced people. Schools have been shut down, hospitals and clinics inundated, roads cut off, leaving commuters stranded, and power supply curtailed. As it stands now, there's an urgent need for aid and relief items such as mattresses, blankets, toiletries, food and clothes for onward distribution to victims.
Meanwhile, the minority in parliament and some religious organizations are calling on corporate Ghana to intervene in aiding victims of the Akosombo and Pong Dam spillage.
A public health alert has been issued due to ravaging water sweeping homes, submerging houses, cutting roads and turning some communities into ghost towns. The Volta River Authority, managers of the Akosombo and Pong dams, are racing to save the dam from possible collapse. The calls are desperate and an all-hands-on-deck relief effort has been activated.
When about 200,000 people's lives are in peril, we ought to see corporate Ghana come up with a more realistic approach to try to help. I'm not saying they haven't helped in the past. Yes, the economy is not in a good shape, so the budgets for many of these corporate bodies may not be as enhanced as they wish. But I believe that even this, in light of all this, they can still do a bit more than, when we were there, I just left the place a few days ago. I can't see any significant presence of major corporate bodies we know in this country who are trying to come there to support in any way.
There are calls for the declaration of a state of emergency.
As of God, Ghana fully backs calls for the declaration of a state of emergency in the flood-affected areas. This will add the necessary legislative and humanitarian weight to measures being undertaken to bring the depressing situation under control.
The Assemblies of God Church is actively working on relief efforts and seeking a legislative framework to prevent such catastrophic situations.
We believe finding a permanent solution to the impact of flood waters anytime there's a spillage of water from any of the dams in Ghana will be most welcome. Engineering solutions, massive education and effective sanctions against environmental degradation should therefore be intensified on all fronts if we decide as a nation to be serious in finding long-term answers to the flooding and other nagging environmental questions. On our part, as Assemblies of God Ghana shall donate an amount of 20,000 Ghana cedis and other relief items to help alleviate the plight of the victims.
We'll stay on this particular issue, and Media General and 3 Foundation have launched a fund to provide support to victims of the Akosombo and Pong Dam spillage. The foundation is calling on the public to donate cash, provisions and other relief items to support the vulnerable.
3 Foundation is a sustainability and corporate social responsibility management structure for Media General, with a commitment to enriching lives and empowering Ghanaians with interventions in health, education and community development. Head of 3 Foundation, Gillian Heathcote, says the creation of the fund has become necessary to provide a platform for others to reach out to the vulnerable.
3 Foundation and Media General are saying that for those of us out there who can contribute building materials, food, medicines, we understand that the hospital had to shut down because of the situation, and we can imagine what the hospital will be going through. The textile industries, people have lost their entire clothing.
She has appealed to the public to support the worthy cause.
For people who have their own widow's mites and they want to give donations, they can do so through 3 Foundation official account, which is 059-743-3110. We have a merchant number, which is 120494, under the merchant name 3 Foundation. And for persons who would want to make some further inquiries about our Dam Spillage Relief Fund, they can call 0243-126-282 to reach the corporate communication department of Media General, and we'll be too happy to direct them as to what to do.
The spillage has displaced thousands, with women and children most affected.
Now, still on the floods, the Ghana Tourism Authority has expressed regret over the flooding that has inundated the premises of several hotels in various regions across the country following the spillage of the Akosombo and Pong Dams. A deputy CEO of the authority, Akosombo, has assured that his organization is taking everything possible, their measures to assist affected businesses in their recovery from the impact of the flooding.
It's unfortunate. It's something that we have not envisaged. And, you know, we also promote, these are resort facilities. It's very, very bad. You know, when somebody invests heavily in such facilities and then, unfortunately, we have these natural disasters, it's unfortunate. We have actually asked our regional offices to contact them as soon as possible to see what we can do, you know, to assist them. But certainly our heart is with them. And then we're praying that no life is lost, but again, we will see what we can do, especially coming straight from COVID, where majority of the hotels were affected. And now that they are recovering to meet this natural phenomena, it's unfortunate. But certainly we will do whatever is now means to ensure that they can be on their feet again.
Now, the Ghana Meteorological Agency says that Volta, Eastern and Greater Accra regions should expect more rains from tomorrow and coming days. Felicity Ahiafianyo with the Forecasting Office of the Ghana Meteo Office says more rains are in the forecast and the general public should be guided by the forecasts.
We came up with the outlook from tomorrow, Wednesday, through to 23rd October, how we are anticipating it to be like. So it's still going to be variably cloudy across the Volta parts of eastern regions into Greater Accra. And then we are having 40 to 70% chance of rain, which is likely to come with thunderstorms and lightning. And we are looking at the active spots between 20th and 23rd. That is when we are still anticipating that there will be another outburst of rainstorm. But tomorrow, we still have 30% chance that there will be some localized formation of rain and thunder around that area. So we just need to be careful. We will also be monitoring, and then we'll keep updating them so that they can get themselves ready. So now till November, yes, rain is still in the forecast.
Now on to some more stories. Two more members of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams and Reverend Eastwood Anaba, have resigned as members of the board. In a letter addressed to the president and signed by both men of God, they indicated that their resignation is due to the non-compliance of the board to halt all activities relating to the construction of the cathedral until an independent audit is concluded. They noted that in a draft resolution submitted to the board, they asked for an independent accounting firm to audit all public funds contributed to the National Cathedral. Archbishop Duncan Williams and Reverend Eastwood Anaba said since January 2023, they have been waiting for the audit report, but to no avail. Now, according to them, the suspension would have paved the way for transparency and accountability to be provided to the Ghanaian people. They, however, reassured the government of their support. Now, on the foreign front, India's Supreme Court has declined to legalize same-sex unions, dashing the hopes of millions of LGBTQ+ people seeking marriage equality. Now, the court instead accepted the government's offer to set up a panel to consider granting more legal rights and benefits to same-sex couples. Activists and same-sex couples said they were disappointed by the judgment and would continue their campaign. The court was considered 21 petitions by same-sex couples and activists. Now, the five-judge bench had held extensive hearing in April and May, and deliberations were live-streamed in public interest. And that's over the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. We'll be back with more on New Day.